Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeridianLink's webinar for XpressCollect. We're really happy that you've all joined us today. We're looking forward to giving you guys an overview of our collection solution. Before I begin, a few housekeeping items. Just a couple things that everybody should know. We are recording this webinar so that you will have the ability to get a recording of this after the fact if you wish. We also have a handout. You can see that down in your section there where under handouts, you can go ahead and download that if you'd like. And any questions that you have during this, you can enter, it can be submitted via the questions box. We will have folks monitoring that and answering questions as we go. That'll be a great place for you to get information or ask a question, and we'll make sure to keep an eye on those, and if we need to break in and answer one at the time, we can do that. All right, so as we're beginning, I did think I would throw up a couple poll questions that's going to give us an idea of a little bit about your financial institutions. So if you will, I'm going to go ahead and launch this first poll. If you guys could take a minute just to respond based on your organization. All right, looks like we're getting... All right, and it looks like we've hit 50%, so that's pretty good. All right, thank you everybody for responding to that. All right, there we go. And now I'm going to put up one more poll. So let me get one more up here, and I'm going to go ahead and launch that. This is going to help us to understand a little bit about the organizations that are attending and what you guys are currently faced with. All right, we'll give that a few more seconds here. All right, great. Thank you, everyone, for responding to that. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. All right, so let's take a look at today's agenda. So today we're going to be focused on, we're going to show you how XpressCollect, delivered as a web-based solution, can help your teams become more productive and efficient while working from home, remotely. Everybody's kind of dealing with this situation currently where you've got a lot of staff at home. Having a solution that is easily accessible by your collectors, something that allows them to quickly come in and just continue to work on all of the delinquent accounts and focus on what's most important, is designed to be very simple with our solution. We're going to show you how the simple user interface ensures that anyone on your team can manage collections without an extensive training or a long ramp-up period. You'll learn how the custom queues can empower you to be more productive by setting up predefined collection groups, such as days late and many other things. I'll get a little more into that as I start showing the solution. You'll see how the automated workflows empower you to experience a more efficient automated workflow as your collectors can just simply work a delinquent account and get the next account in queue. We'll show you how the reporting tool can help you to manage your business daily. Very nice built-in reports. We'll go over those. You'll see how integrations with certain core solutions and important third-party vendors and MeridianLink products help you to quickly work collection cases every day. And you'll see how loan modifications, how workout loans can be submitted right from XpressCollect right into your loans PQ decision engine, allowing for a seamless flow of those workout loans. You know how this works at a very basic level, and a lot of you guys, I imagine this will look, feel comfortable to you. This is a very simple rollout of a collection, a workflow queue. So in this example, you're not collecting on accounts until they reach 10 days or more delinquent. So under 10 days delinquent, no action required. 10 to 30, if the answer to that is no, if it doesn't ever hit 10 to 30, then nothing will happen within our solution. However, if it does, it's going to drop into that 10 to 30 day delinquency queue, basically. And from there, it's going to be accessible by the responsible parties at your credit union, at your financial institution. They'll be able to log in, and they're going to see the accounts that are in their queue. And that'll follow along. As that delinquent account, if it continues to grow more delinquent, it will automatically shift to different workflow queues. Now, one thing to keep in mind, all of you that are watching, this is all controlled by you. So we're going to work with you during the implementation process, during the setup process, to make sure that we have a workflow built specifically to your financial institution. What works best for you? We have a solution that's designed to work to be highly efficient for a very small collection team, one person. It's also designed to be highly efficient for a very large collection team. It can handle 50 or 100 or 200. It doesn't matter. We've built this to be very flexible so that we can design this so that it works for any financial institution, regardless of how many delinquent cases or delinquent accounts you're dealing with. You know, a quick high level of how XpressCollect works. We're going to import a file, schedule a nightly file to be automatically sent containing all of the delinquent loans, shares, and accounts. XpressCollect then handles the rest. So custom queues. Once we get this file in, we need to have queues. Everything needs to go somewhere. So we're going to work with you to design those queues. What are the triggers? It can be very simple. 10 to 30 day goes here, 31 to 60 goes here, 61 to 90 goes here, and 91 to 120 goes here. So very simple. Or it could be much more granular. You could have queues specific to individuals. You can have queues for charge-offs, different queues for repo ordered, another queue for repo pending sale, then another one for repos. There's just a lot of different ways that you can design these queues. With certain core solutions and integration, we can have real-time payment updates when we go to open a case. Now, here you see case. Just so everybody understands, you're going to hear me say delinquent case. What I mean is delinquent account. Now, as you all know, a customer, a consumer that has an account with you, they might have one case or delinquent account with you, or they might have many. We are designed to support whether they just have one or many, and we can split those out to different queues or drop those into the same queues. So there's a lot of flexibility there. So when you hear me say case, what I'm talking about is one delinquent account. So if somebody has a car loan and a credit card and they're both delinquent, they have two delinquent cases. So close the case. Now you can set the game plan. If you didn't have any luck contacting them, you can set a next work date to follow up. You can assign that case to another workflow queue. You've got a lot of different options here. As a collector, I can very simply move on to the next one. So when I come in, I start to work, I see everything on one page, I make a phone call, I leave a message, I send an email, and then I come and say next work date is Friday or Monday, and then I hit get next case in queue, and that's it. It's that simple. And I move on. And that case is now assigned that it will pop back up into my queue on Monday. And the only way it won't is if they bring it current, because we get this nightly file where we're learning. As each day goes by, if somebody comes in and makes a payment, it's now under 10 days. It no longer needs to be in a queue. When I come into work on Monday, I don't need to worry about that. It will automatically present if it needs to be, and if it's now current, it will not present. I will just continue on working my delinquent cases. Setting promise to pays, scheduling payment plans, and taking a payment without ever leaving XpressCollect. So we're going to get more into this. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the first step in the webinar today, which is the dashboard. As a collector, in this example, I've logged in for the day, and I'm looking at my dashboard. So as I explained when I went through the agenda, this is a web-based application, which means that I can be at the credit union, in my cubicle or at my desk, logging in here. I could also be at home collecting from my laptop at home. And that's controlled by you guys through IP restrictions. You have the ability to either allow or not allow that and control that yourselves. So let's talk about this dashboard. As a collector, when I log in, I'm going to see some very important things to me here. I'm going to see dollars collected. So here, management has the ability to set goals for me. And I can see visually where I'm at in those goals, not only each morning when I log in, but at any point during the day, I can come back to this page. If I've been collecting and bringing in money, I can click back over here and see how that meter is moving. Am I getting closer to reaching my goal? So we give a tool, a visual tool, so your collector can track their progress towards meeting their goals. They can see at a high level total cases and cases worked and charge-offs. They can also see their monthly efforts. So again, everything here on the top part of this page is specific to me as a collector. So here they can see their monthly efforts. How am I doing on my expected number of calls, emails, letters, dollar amount collected? Over here, I can see a percentage. I can see where I'm at. Over here, I'm going to see any important tasks that I'm responsible for. These are going to present to me for today. So these are tasks that I'm responsible for today. I need to come in and work this. I would typically start my work day here. These tasks are things like maybe following up on a promise to pay, or call me tomorrow morning and I'll make the payment arrangements with you. I'm only going to be home between 8 and 9 tomorrow morning. I can set up a task. I can put a reminder out there for tomorrow, and I can put a time on it, 8 a.m., so that I get notified that I've got a task and here's the time I need to contact them. Now, as we scroll down on this page, we see company details. And here I'm going to pause again, and I just want to get an idea, and I'm going to throw up another quick poll here if I can. So let me go ahead and we're going to start with looking to see who uses a third party. So let me go ahead and launch that. And it's just a yes or no if you use a third-party collection agency for any of your delinquency. Okay, we'll give that a few more seconds here as folks are answering that. All right. It looks like the majority, about 1/3 of you do use that, and a majority of you are not. So thank you for responding to that poll there. So our solution is designed to allow you to take a look at what everyone is doing. That's the reason I asked that question. If you are using a third party or an agency, you can have a specific track or setup here so I can see how agency A is doing, or how agency B is doing. So here is just a couple examples. How are they doing on their collection efforts? So very quickly, I can come in and see what's going on and how are they doing and what kind of progress are they making. Maybe as the collection manager, I might want to reach out to the manager over there at the third party and say, hey, what's going on? I see your numbers are way down today compared to normal. Is there something happening or something I need to be aware of? So it allows you to track that. You can track all agencies as it defaulted to this when I came in here. This is a global view. This shows me all of the delinquency that we are getting from the core system. And you guys decide what comes over from the core. So you decide if we're getting what loan types we're getting. You decide if we're getting your delinquent shares, and any delinquent share accounts. We can support any of those delinquent files or cases that you're going to send over as a part of that nightly file. We're going to be able to absorb all of that, trigger those to the appropriate workflow queues, and then for your collectors, they don't have to know any of that. All they do is they come in and they start working for the day. And where they start working for the day would be, show me my cases. So let's talk about queues and show you some examples of this. So now what you're seeing is my delinquent 30 to 59. Now, I, as a collector, have decided that that's my most important queue. And I think some of you might be nodding your heads right now, right? Because here we want to make sure that we're really focused on everything that is 59 days today. Because why? Tomorrow it's 60 and you got to start reporting that. You might have a heavy focus on keeping things from hitting 60 days. So here I've selected that queue, and it's going to always default to that or to both of those, depending on how I want to view my delinquent accounts. So I can select these two or even these three, and now every morning when I come in, it's going to default here. And then I can sort by days late so that I'm able to focus on the most important one first. Or I can sort by delinquent amount, promise to pay, last work date. So I can sort by these features along the top. All right, so here you see some different examples of these workflow queues. I'm going to get a little bit more into this because I think it's important to know how that queue setup works. So I'm going to come in here to the admin or the back end where I can set up and control queues. One of the things we hear as we're talking with credit unions and banks that are interested in this, one of the biggest pain points they have is we hear things like, well, we use our core solution to collect, and it's very difficult to manage the workflow queues. If I want to make a change to something, I always have to go to my IT department. Now, I'm not putting down IT departments here. They're very important, but they're also very busy. Everybody knows that sometimes it's very hard to get the attention of the one IT person that knows the collection part of the core system. And so sometimes I might have to wait a day or 2 days or a week or 2 weeks before I can make a change to the queues or make a change to the way this information is flowing in. What we have here is a solution that we're going to train you how to do this. So here are some examples. Here is this queue, I've named it Alpha, and this is Adam's team as an example. Or we've got the charge-off queue. Or we've got Dave's queue, and Dave handles business loans, maybe. Or simply put, the 1 to 29, the 30 to 59, 60 to 89. So as you can see here, we've got a lot of different kind of things out here. This is in my demonstration environment. We've kind of really created different things to show how you can set this up. The point I want to make right here is that you control the naming of the queue. You control the description. You decide what agency, what the priority is, who the assigned users are. The ability to come in and edit this queue or make changes to it, it's very simple. So let's say we want to look at the 30 to 59 day queue. And today we're getting close to the end of the month. So right now I have one person, one assigned user for that queue. But today I want to change that. And I'm going to go ahead and assign a few more people. If I do this in the morning before my collectors get in, then when they get in, there's not going to have to be, there won't be anything they have to do. They're going to see those, that they've been assigned to those, and they can immediately jump into those queues and start working those as a focus for today. It can be very simply edited, right like I just did. The process for making changes to this is very simple and it's real time. So you can affect change to your queues, to your triggers. What triggers a delinquent account to come to one queue as opposed to another? You can control all of that without having to set up an appointment with an IT person. So similar to what we've done with our loan and our new account origination solution, that model that's been so successful for us over all of these years is instead of providing a solution that we control completely. Oh, no, you want anything done, you got to come to us. Instead of doing that, we have been very successful over the years of providing a model where we're going to teach you to be subject matter experts. That's how we've handled and succeeded with Loans PQ and Express accounts for many years, since the very beginning. We're doing nothing different here with XpressCollect. Same thing. We're going to teach you how to be an administrator of this. We're going to teach you how to do all these things. And as you can see, as I'm going through. It's pretty simple. It's not very complicated. We really have designed this in some ways. If you're used to making changes and working in Loans, PQ, and Express accounts, this will even make more sense to you because we follow the same logic with business rules, assigning different rules so that we can move things from one queue to the other. So again, if I come back in here as an example to those rules, and if I edit this queue, oh, nope, I don't want to do that. I think I chose the wrong thing there. Let's not delete it. Let's edit it. How about that? All right. So now down here at the bottom of my screen, you can see I have a couple simple rules here. This is going to be very similar to what we do with Loans, PQ, and Express account. Days late, greater than 29. Days late, less than 60. Right? We might want to add a rule here that says charge off equals no. Something like that. Is charge off? No. So is charge off equals no. So it's that simple. So now anything that is not a charge off, that is this date range, is going to come right into this workflow queue, and these people are going to be responsible. So you can have these folks responsible. Then how you set that up. So you have the ability to set up the case distribution on that. So now we've got 4 people responsible for that queue. How do we want them to collect on that? Well, we want it to be a round robin. So those 4 coming in are just going to sit there and hit get next case, get next case, get next case. Or we could do percentage. I just want to break that out 25% each. Everything in that, we're going to just break it out to 25% each. So I have the ability to decide how I want the distribution to happen within those workflow queues. So let's take a look real quick at a day in the life of a collector. I think it's important to go through what your collectors will see. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to open up a delinquent case. So let's just go ahead and grab one of these. Let's see, what do we got here? I think this is a good one to grab. Let's go ahead and open up Chad. So now we're going to go ahead. Now I'm a collector and I'm going to start working for the day. So the collection solution is designed to have all the information on one page. Everything I need as a collector is here. Over here, I can add a comment. Now I can also add comments down here. One of the things we've done is we've given multiple places. And the reason we do this is because that makes it simple. That makes it simple for your collector. I don't have to remember where to go to add comments. There's multiple places on this page where I can do it. And it all just works. That's the goal, right? Because you want your collectors to not have to worry about any of those things I just talked about. If I'm a collector, what do you want me to do all day? You want me making phone calls, sending emails, searching for delinquent borrowers, all of that. And you want that to be my primary focus. You don't want me to have to be distracted with sending a letter out or creating and typing up an email. We offer pre-created email templates so that I can come in here and just quickly send the first attempt or maybe the final contact email. These are just some examples of what you might put in here. We work with you to build out your different email templates. What this does is it allows your collectors to operate more efficiently. Because now, think about it. Anybody that sat down and typed out a delinquent email, it takes a little time. Unless you've saved your own templates, you got to kind of make sure you word that right. You want to make sure it's not, you want to get that correct. So that might be easy for a first attempt. Hi, I need to talk to you, blah, 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 whatever. What this allows management to create specific communication in each phase of the delinquency process. And you know that your communication is going out consistently and clearly the way you want it to go out. And for an employee, the idea of the time it takes me to send an email, this is how long it takes me to send an email. That's it. I'm done. I sent an email. I can come in here. So let's back up. I think I got a little off track there, so forgive me. I'm going to bring it back here for a moment. We're going to come back up. So I'm a collector. I've logged in. I come to my first delinquent account, and I'm just going to start working. So what do I see here? I see the ability to make a comment. I see the ability to take a payment. I can do a one-time payment option, or I can set a payment plan. So here I can come in and create a payment plan. So number of payments, 2, frequency, biweekly, start date, Monday, amount, $200. As you can see, I've done this before. And in branch, they're going to come, add. That's it. So now I've taken a payment arrangement. I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I see a task list. So any task that I might need to follow here can be presented to me. I can add a task manually, but if there are any pre-created tasks for a 30 to 69 day, management can create tasks and I can see those specifically here and I can work those. Any alerts. Here, I would show any warning codes, maybe in repossession. There's different warning codes or alerts we might see here. This is an overall summary, just like you'd see the save and print summary in Loans PQ. We're going to give you a total summary of everything. Sticky note. This is a simple feature that will allow you to put a note out there that says, do not talk to the spouse. Or member goes by Chadrick instead of Chad. He likes to be called Chadrick for some reason. So call him that. You guys understand this as collectors. You know, I'm an old-time collector, so I used to collect way back in the day in a credit union. And we used to go to the file room, and we used to request a file. And then I'd come to my desk, and I'd have all these new files for the day. And I'd open the file, and I'd see a sticky note right on top that said, don't talk to the spouse. There you go. That's how we came to that decision to put a sticky note out here. Of course, I can see any documents. Also, I have options across the top here. So here is all the member information on the left side of the screen. So this is everything for the membership. Their account number, social security number. So here I can look up their account. I can see what their core view is. I can see loans they have. I can see accounts they have. So I have the ability to look right into the core solution. I also can come here and I can order credit or I can view a credit report. Down here, you see that number is green. What that means is it's a right party contact. Right party contact is important because this is what tells you this is a good phone number. So if they answer and you speak with the debtor, or they answer and say, hi, this is Chad, I'm not here right now, well, then you know, okay, or this is Chadrick. Sorry, I should stick with the same one, right? This is Chadrick, and I'm not here right now. Please leave me a message. Well, I know this is a good number because he identified himself on the message. Or if I call and somebody answers and says, Chadrick's not here right now. Okay, again, I know this is a good number. Or we've got no answer or left voicemail. The voicemail did not identify. Hi, you've reached 634-797-3222, and I'm not here right now. Okay, you don't know that this is Chadrick right now. Or you verify or confirm it's a wrong number. The reason we have color here is because as I come in to collect on this account, previously another collector may have worked it, and it's green. Right away, visually, I know I got a good number. If it's red, I know I don't, and maybe I come into skip trace. I do some other means of trying to contact this person. My point is I am not wasting a single click. Now, 1 or 2 or 3 clicks on one account might not seem like a lot, but when I'm working delinquent accounts all day long, and if I'm saving 10 or 15 or 20 clicks on every one of those, I become much more efficient. I'm operating more efficiently for my financial institution. I'm more successful at contacting people because I'm reaching more of them. I'm having more time. We can list things like primary language spoken. And this is a really nice feature because if you have a collection employee that speaks Spanish and somebody identifies that this member only speaks Spanish, I can change this to that language and it can trigger it into the Spanish queue. So that collector who speaks Spanish would then get this and be able to handle this this collection call. So there's great little features we've built in here to make this convenient and simple. We can choose preferred contact times. As I said, I can send an email. I can, right here, I can map the address. I can say, oh, they don't live there anymore. They moved away. Down here, I can make comments. So see what happens. If I come in here and I say, I called their mobile number and answer left message, it turns that green, and look what else it does. It types the message for me. These are clicks that we're saving for your staff. We're making them more efficient. We're making this easier for them. We're removing a lot of the thought process that goes into, writing down your notes or typing them into an Excel spreadsheet or typing them in here. A lot of times with those notes, I don't know how it is nowadays in collections, but when I was in collections, PMA, LMM, whatever, right? We use all these abbreviations. I used to, and collections used to have a lot of that going on. And I know over the years that's caused problems because you might have a collector that has this really good process for doing that, but then they're not there anymore. And somebody's trying to make sense of their notes, and they're like, what the heck did they mean here? So we've built in some pieces here that are going to start to type that message in. Cell phone. It was an outbound call. Answered, left message. I can append to that. We'll call back tomorrow. Add comment. That simple. It's going to store that comment. All comments ever made are always shown. And I can filter them. Here I see phone call in orange. I see a promise in green. Green's good. Right? I see an email. I see, other information, and I can come in here and I can filter. Show me just the emails. Show me just the phone calls. So this is great when somebody is repetitively delinquent. As you guys know, some of your consumers aren't just delinquent once. It looks like there's a question from the audience here, so I'm gonna just pause for a moment. And LaShawn, do you wanna jump in with that?
Yes, thanks, Steve. So the question is coming from Judy Jones. The question is, if a loan is brought current and no longer appears in a queue, can we still see the comments, notes that were entered for the loan? And if the loan goes delinquent again, will the previous comments, notes appear?
Great question. So the first part of the question, if a loan goes current, can you still see the comments? The short answer is yes. We do have some of our clients that will send us all of their accounts, whether they're current or not. And then we design a queue that says current accounts. And then any time or under 10 days delinquent, let's just say that, any case under 10 days delinquent goes into this queue. That's going to be all the current accounts. That's going to be anything under 10 days. Then we have the other queues to say, if it moves to 11 days, it's going to trigger to this queue. In doing it that way, we can give you access to looking at the delinquent or collection comments, even when a case is current. The second question is, if an account goes delinquent or is delinquent, and then it goes current, and then it becomes delinquent again, can you see the old notes? Absolutely. Once this is triggered back into a workflow queue, it's going to hold everything that happened from before. Hopefully that answers your questions. If I've missed something there, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Steve. There's another question actually from Judy Jones as well. For the payment plans, if ACH is selected as the method, is the ACH payment created, or does this still need to be done in our core system?
Mm-hmm. That is a really good question. We might want to do a follow-up on that, LaShawn, unless you have anything to add to that. That's a good question that we can get back with you on. And the reason I say that, I have a pretty good idea, but I don't like to answer questions unless I'm 100% sure. So I think it might be better to be able to follow up with you on that, and then we can answer that for you.
We'll take that as a follow-up. That's all the questions for right now, Steve.
Okay, great. All right, thanks so much. All right, so as we continue, everyone, as I was explaining, I'm a collector, and I've got all this information right in front of me. So down here, I've got these great tabs, quick access to all these things. Across the top here, I've got this information, again, quick access to do these different things. So instead of having multiple complicated pages, we have one page with all the information a click away. So on the left-hand side, as I was explaining, this is the overall membership side. Over here is the loan side. So what we have here is membership, account, information, phone numbers, all of this that we just went through, comments, we can see all this here. And then let's walk across the top real quick because we do have integration with CBC and Novus for a skip trace. Or you have the ability to add a third party here. Let me go ahead real quick here. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to come right here. I just want to, reason that's not. Here we go. So we come over here, we have an integration with CBC and Novus where they offer a skip tracing service. Basically, they have all access to all this information out there, and they can bring it into a skip report. We also can identify any third parties. This is a really nice piece here because maybe the aunt is always great at getting a loan current. I know the aunt maybe, or I know that in the past the aunt said, "Oh, I hear, I've called. Hi, this is Steve from ABC Financial Institution, and I'm trying to reach Joe." "Okay, Steve. Yep, I'm sure I know why you're calling. You called last month. Seems like you call every month this time. You know what? I'll have a talk with that Joe. I'll make sure this gets taken care of. I'm not sharing any information with the aunt, but I kind of know she's awesome because she gets on top of Joe and she gets that payment made." So we have the ability to add different third parties there. Of course, we can take information on a bankruptcy and we link out to Pacer so you can go out and pull up info on their specific case in bankruptcy. We also can track legal, adding new, and we can track employment. So if somebody has a new employer, I can come right in here. They were at ABC company, now they have a new employer. So I have the ability to add information here. Now let's go over to the right-hand side of the screen and let me show you another nice feature. As a collector, I might think this is too busy. I got all this over here and I got all this over here. So first I'm going to start over here and I want to just hide this. No problem. I can just hide it. And then I can get all this real estate right in front of me. And then I want to bring that back in, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that back in. Now, here is all the delinquent account. So right up here, I have the ability to very quickly change the view I'm looking at so that I can really optimize visually what I'm dealing with. Now, over here on the right, we have the delinquent account side. So over here, these are all the delinquent accounts. Here, I can see any delinquent cases. So if they have more than one, I would see those right here. Down here, let me back up because that's an important part. Some of you guys will have one collector that will, if they get if my account's delinquent, I'm going to get that account dumped into their workflow queue, and they're going to collect on. They're going to be responsible for my account. So any delinquent loan I have in there, or I might be responsible for 1 to 29, and this person might have, as you guys know, somebody that's delinquent typically is going to be delinquent on all their cases with you, all their accounts with you. So you might see over here a car loan, a credit card, and a home equity loan. The one that shows up highlighted is the car loan. Why? Because that's the one that's in my queue. However, if I get them on the phone, I'm guessing that management, my boss, wants me to collect on everything, right? You don't want me to ignore the credit card and the home equity loan. If I get them on the phone, then let's talk about all of them. Then I can click and highlight each one. And when I highlight, like clicking here, it's showing me everything for the vehicle loan. If I clicked on the credit card, if there were another one here, then it would change and I would see all the details for the credit card. And up here, I would see a total amount due that was equal to all delinquent loans, not just this one. So here there's only one loan, so it's $1162.60. But if I had those other two loans, that total combined delinquent amount might be $1,800. I'm going to see that up there so that I can very simply make arrangements. They say, well, what's the total amount I need to give you to bring all my loans current? Simple, $1162.60. That'll cover everything. All right, great. Let's go ahead and get that. Let's get that taken care of. I want to bring these all current. So I can see one or more, depending on how many delinquent cases they have with this. Down here, I've got other options. I'll walk through this pretty quickly, but here I can see payments. I can view payment history. I can view promise history. Any documents associated with this. Under assistance, this is where I'm going to submit for a workout loan. Right here, we can deliver this right into Loans PQ. You can go ahead and present an instant response. It can go to a special queue in Loans PQ, and the right or correct underwriter can then handle it from there. Here I can see credit history overall. I can enter insurance information. This is a car loan, remarketing. Here, what's the auction location? Title received. I can complete this for tracking and monitoring. Total loss, and I have repossession. We do have an integration with one repossession provider, RDN. So there is some integration we do there as well. So overall details right here, and then down here I'm seeing specifics. This is all info we're getting from the core. Down here, I can go ahead and pull up a Kelley Blue Book, an NADA, or maybe a Black Book Auto. Down here, I can assign it to a different queue. So I want to quickly assign this over to Dave's queue because Dave's a really good collector and I need his help on this. Or I've gone ahead and I've made a couple calls. I've left a message and I say, I'm good, I'm ready with this one. Save and next case in queue. So that's simple. I can walk through, I can collect, I can see information, I can make phone calls, I can make promises, send emails. All of that can be done very simply, and then I hit save and get the next case. I'm going to come back in here to the admin part because I want to talk for a moment about reports. I'm about to run out of time. I talk too much sometimes, so hopefully this is all making good sense. But let's talk about reporting because we give you all of these reports. So we have, this is just two of them here, but let me show you. We've got a number of different pre-created reports. These are reports that have been requested from other clients or financial institutions that are using our collection solution, and they've said, hey, these are really important reports for a collection department. So let me back up here because I want to just give you a quick example of one of them. This is one that we get a lot of compliments on. It's the collector summary. Let's just run that collector summary. And here you're going to see one example of a report. So here I have all my collectors down here, and then across I can see what each one of them is doing. So it looks like Gwendolyn is doing some work, and it looks like Jared and Christina are doing some work, but nobody else is doing any work. Maybe they haven't started yet for the day, or they have, and I need to go walk into the break room and see what's going on. Promises. I can see promises made, kept, broken, pending. How many promises per hour, average? And then phone calls. How many calls per hour? Right party contacts. People are really starting to track that. Percentage of right party contact. How many right party contacts per hour? Emails and letters. So that's just one report. There's collection activities report. Looks a little bit different. Show an example of that. We can show reports differently. We can show bar graphs or pie charts, or there's just different ways that you can view this information. And we also give you the ability to create your own report. So any information that is within XpressCollect, a report can be run on that. So here you can see I've got a couple, a daily and a weekly. Let me just edit one of those. Here you can see that we're going to follow similar to the way we've set up queues. We can add rules. We're going to set up report columns, and we're going to add report rules to determine what's going to come into that report. All right, so as we're kind of wrapping this one up, I think we've got one more poll question, unless we have questions from the audience. So let me kind of pause before I throw up this final poll question. Let's get LaShawn. Let's check in to see if we have any other questions that have come in, or if anybody wants to raise your hand. I think we can take a couple questions here.
There are some questions, Steve, from the audience.
Sure.
So a question from Jan. So the question is, if you don't assign your collectors to queues and let everyone go in and work them in order, are you still able to track that collector's performance daily, weekly, and monthly? Follow-up to that. Yes. Okay. Follow-up question to that is, if I click on where you showed agency and put the collector name, I can see what they did the day before, question mark?
Yes. Yes, so if we're talking about right here, so let's walk through there. So your first question, and that's Jan, right? Jan, your first question was, can we just have one queue for everything? Yes, you can have one queue, all your delinquent cases from 10 to, probably 180 days, maybe. I don't know when you guys are actually charging off. Everybody's a little different. But you could have one queue for everything that's not charged off and another queue for everything that is charged off. Or you could even have one queue for everything. You don't have to break it out. You can keep this very simple. As I said at the beginning, we've designed this solution to work for a team of one all the way up to a team of whatever, unlimited. It's going to work. You can set up agencies. Now, your second question is, if you come in here, can you see a specific, this says agency A. That could just say Sarah. Filter. How's Sarah doing? And that could say Bob. Great. Filter. How's Bob doing? Well, geez, Bob's not working. I need to get on Bob. So the short answers there are yes and yes.
Thank you very much, Steve. Next question is, does this system integrate with SWBC?
Now, I think, LaShawn, I think you might be a little more familiar. I think we are working with, last I heard, we're working with something with SWBC, but I don't think that's complete yet.
I can jump in for you, Steve, and help you out there. Yes, we are actually integrated with SWBC. The answer is yes.
Yes, look at that. All right. Any other questions?
Another question from the audience. If someone is in an account, will it show up in someone else's queue?
Okay, let me see if I understand that. So if someone is in an account, it's not going to tell me in my queue view that someone is in an account that's in my queue. When I go in to enter an account that someone else has already worked, we are able to see any notes or anything that happened this morning, right before I came in. So here, the way we set this up, we design it with either a percentage or round robin to avoid somebody coming in and working on the same account at the same time. However, it could happen that somebody calls in and they say hi. Now, typically this would be somebody that called in that was already called today. So called, left a message, they're calling back, and I can search this. I can find that individual, and then I can see the notes from this morning, and I can go ahead and make additional notes or make a promise to pay. I hope that answers your question. If not, we can maybe clarify that a little bit, and we can dig a little more into that question.
Those are all the questions for right now, Steve.
Okay. All right. So as we are wrapping up, I think if there are no other questions or nothing else we can answer, we can give you guys back about 15 minutes of your day. Before we end the session, I do have one final poll that I want to throw up. So if you guys could take a look at this and respond to this before we wrap up for today, we would greatly appreciate that. All right, we'll give this a little bit more time. All right. All right, well, thank you all very much for attending today's webinar of XpressCollect. If we have anything that we can do, you can absolutely reach out to us. You can also send in a note here that you'd like us to contact you. We'd be happy to talk more with you. And as I mentioned, there are handouts down there that you can download yourself. And thank you all very much for joining today. We really appreciate your time. Oh, let me add in, you can email salessupport@meridianlink.com. I guess I should have said that. I know that. For those of you still on the phone, if you are interested, send an email out to salessupport@meridianlink.com. And thank you, Wilson, for providing that. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Again, thank you for joining, and best of luck to you out there. Please stay healthy and maybe enjoy some good weather if you have it around you.